You ever notice how people drive around with a garage full of junk while complaining they're broke? If you don't have any friends that do that, it might be you. How about that rusty grill? Maybe you got a pile of copper wire or a random chunk of metal that's been sitting behind the shed since the Clinton administration. Yeah, all of that is money. And that's where Premier Metal Recycling comes in. These guys know value, like real value, not internet math, actual cash value. Whether it's scrap steel, copper, brass, aluminum, Premier Metal will tell you what it's worth and put money in your hand. Honestly, it's one of the few places left where cleaning out your garage can actually pay off. They have 2 convenient locations, 909 West Linden Avenue in East Rochester and 11 Carnes Street in downtown Rochester. You can also check daily pricing and exactly what materials they're buying at premiermetalgroup.com. Or, if you're feeling friendly, give them a call directly at 585-436-4020. Premier Metal Recycling, because your junk pile might actually be your emergency fund.
When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thank you for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. It is Dan Barillo. Came out last night. We did the Theme That Tune at the VFW. And I actually went better than I thought it might. I always sweat these things like crazy, man.
Shouldn't.
And they said, you know, that was fun. We should get you back, and you know, da. The idea with it was to kind of use it as a test balloon, more or less. Could we do it? Did we have the infrastructure to make it happen? How hard would it be? Did we have enough, things? And could we then take it and try to get various bars to do it? But, and you're not, it depends on the bar, but, a lot of people come and that's their place. They just want to hang out and they like the vibe, right? So now you're coming in and disrupting.
I want to have my fish fry. I want to catch up on my quick draw.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so you're having, so I don't want to necessarily interrupt what's already organically there.
Yeah.
So those are my worries and my concerns about it. And to be quite honest with you, I'd rather not do these things, but I thought this was actually kind of fun. And it was all right.
Well, there's a lot of bars that do trivia nights, right? So why wouldn't you do this?
Well,
or trivia or game nights.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Sean Doolin, you've had Sean on the podcast. Sean has done that at Iron Smoke for years.
Yeah.
No cell phones.
Yeah. So,
but they have it timed out, so now you don't even have an opportunity to use a cell phone. Like you have to know the answer instantaneously, and they give you a tablet to use.
Right. So I don't know. It's an interesting little experiment. We'll see how it all goes. Got to tell you though, I love clever.
Don't we all? Or
yes,
shouldn't we all?
We should.
Because it's smart.
Right. I love clever jokes. I love clever life hacks. Clever protests. I even find that. I don't even necessarily need to agree with a person. If you say to me, okay, and I go, that's fucking clever, I think, I'm already halfway on your side.
Yeah, because if you get the clever, that means it validates you. Hey, I'm smart too.
Yeah. 26-year-old guy.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about guys wanting to play in the WNBA.
26-year-old guy in Wales.
Uh-huh.
Dresses as the Grim Reaper.
I saw this.
Climbs onto the roof of a hospital, stands motionless over the entrance, staring at people. Hilarious or asshole?
I got to tell you, 20 years ago I thought a-hole. Now I think it's hilarious.
Why do you think that's
because
changed?
We're all going to die. It's a joke, right? I know some people are like coming to grips with that. Now I'm saved, so I'm not like, I don't want to die. At the same time, I know when I die, life's just going to get more awesome. But I mean, like, I get the joke. And I know people right now. I just had a cousin die. I know other people who are on their deathbed right now. Okay. But I think even some of them would find that funny because it's going to happen to everybody.
Okay. So
it's helping you come to grips, whether you realize it or not.
Here is my question. Is something still funny if the person you're doing it to isn't laughing? And that's where, now, for me, I would run into another room and be absolutely hysterically laughing. But if I'm walking in,
I would be cackling.
Right. But if I'm walking into the hospital for a colonoscopy, hilarious. If I'm walking in because my wife has cancer, right? Same joke, completely different experience. And that's kind of where I thought of this, because here's the question, and I think this is a big question we need to kind of ponder, because I don't know that comedians were necessarily under attack. I think we catastrophize certain words.
How do you guys like it for now?
Right. But does the comedian own the joke, or does the audience own the joke? You know what I mean? Because
that's one of those chicken and egg discussions.
It is, because I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot after reading this. I'm like going, okay, I burst out laughing at the headline just like you did. I think it's hilariously funny. But I tried to go a little bit deeper and go, all right, if I'm walking in, and I thought of you. What if your dad was there and you knew this was kind of the end? Are you still laughing?
One thing I learned.
Or now I would. But what about the rest of your family?
One thing I learned.
Yeah. And
there's something I've been thinking about lately, which hopefully we'll get to later. But one thing I learned, I recently had a health issue come up, and it put things in perspective for me. And I'm still laughing about this. One thing I learned from you and Tom Ulay, if you're going to laugh when it doesn't matter, then you better laugh when it matters too, or else you're being intellectually dishonest.
Yeah, I was always
okay.
Right.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
One time, Tommy told a story when my mother started dating again. What if this guy your mother's dating comes out of your mother's bedroom wearing a bathrobe that says Butchie? And that made me put everything in complete perspective.
But that was the name of your dad. That
was my father's. That was his nickname.
So, I mean, it was your dad's robe is what that would mean. And what would that do for you?
Right. And I couldn't stop laughing because I realized, oh, my gosh, that's silly, but that's the point. That's the point he's making.
Yes.
Who cares?
Yes.
At the end of the day, I think that if you remember the 4 agreements? One of the 4 agreements is don't take anything personally. And I think that's a huge rule. Like, if you're offended, that means deep down you believe that may be true.
I would say that the comedian owns the joke.
Okay. Not
the audience. And I say that because it's coming, hopefully, from their unique perspective of the world, right? If you're going to be a great comic, or great really at anything, you got to come from your own perspective on things. So I mean, we could say, does the audience own it? Well, know your audience, right? Read the room. That's part of it, part of being an entertainer, right? Read the room. I think that's not even just part of being an entertainer. I think it's part of any kind of leadership, no matter what it is. You're running an exercise class, you're teaching a class, you're running a business, you're holding a meeting. Read the room. And sometimes there's an energy that tells you this will work, and then sometimes there's an energy that doesn't. However, if you're a comedian, there are no rules.
No.
I think there's nothing should be off limits.
You look at life.
Unless you make it off limits.
Yeah.
If you decide, for me, that's offensive.
You literally, if you're a comic, you look at life as a joke in a lot of ways. That's how you deal. That's how you cope. That's how you look at life. And not every comic has this like tragic life that led to comedy. Like Jerry Seinfeld had a pretty good life growing up.
Yes.
He just wanted to be funny and became a comic. Then there's other people who like comedy became a coping mechanism for them. But at the end of the day, those who think will make a joke of everything, and those who feel will cry over everything.
Well, right.
And I know there's perspective. You're not going to tell like dirty jokes at work. Like the phrase "not safe for work." Yeah, that's probably a place where you want to avoid, dressing like the Grim Reaper. Especially if you have a coworker who has a relative who's in hospice or dead.
God, that would be so funny to me, though. That would be so funny to me.
Like I have that situation at work where my boss has a sister-in-law who's dying of Lou Gehrig's disease. That's not something that I would do.
You don't talk about sliding into second base like Lou Gehrig? She's going to slide into heaven just like Lou, underneath the tag of the devil. That would make me laugh. I don't know. I mean, look, if I'm walking in for a routine procedure and I see the Grim Reaper standing over there, I might reschedule and think that, well, apparently Blue Cross Blue Shield has a pre-authorization process I'm unaware with. I don't know. But, I mean, like you said, you believe in life after death.
Yes.
So this isn't really worrisome for you, as you've pointed that out. But I just wonder, have we made death so sterile and terrifying as a human species that humor automatically, for many people, feels disrespectful?
Yeah, we have now taken ourselves a little too seriously.
Yeah.
Including our death.
Well,
because it's going to happen to everybody.
Well, I mean, you start to think, like, were we less sensitive 200 years ago because death was more visible?
I think that was part of it. I also think that we had less
everyday life
access to more people and more ideas. So in other words, when you lived in your own community, like I grew up in a small town, you grew up in a small town, but you had like teachers for parents, right? So you had more of an educated, intellectual view of the world.
Did I really, though, Dan? Did I really? I mean, here was the
well, no, your parents would bring in other ideas that my parents wouldn't bring in.
Like
Let's
what?
put it that way.
Give me one.
Oh, your father would hey, are you farting in the bathroom?
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Everything went back to
F-A-R-D, not F-A-R-T.
I know, but here's my thing. Everything went back to the ass. It was a fart joke. And then he would yell at me, you and my father, every joke's about your ass. And I'm like, fuck you. Yours is about the ass. You have fard because it sounds like fart. My father read Miss Manner's Guide to Perfect Etiquette. Any noise below the neck does not exist.
Okay.
You don't acknowledge it. So if someone passes gas in front of you at, like, let's say a cocktail party, you pretend you didn't hear it, right?
Right.
So at dinner, he would start it. He would like kind of rock in his chair and lift his cheek
and wait for you to react
and rip a fart. And then my mother would go, oh, and he'd be like, what happened? Nothing happened.
But the point is, though,
no sound below the neck exists.
But
how is that intellectual?
Because here's the point, though. He read the book, and he acted like, wait, what's the big deal?
Yeah,
Whereas my father would be like, shut up. Hey, go to the bathroom. Excuse yourself. What's the matter with you?
Oh, God.
You rotten from the inside?
But, Danny, it would become a contest. And I once ripped a fart so loud and long and wet sounding.
Because now you're testing your father.
And my mother jumps up and
that's
goes,
funny.
He's sitting. We're all sitting. We had to sit down at the dinner table. Yeah. He's sitting over in the corner, and she's sitting next to him. I'm on the end, and then it's my sister and my brother on the inside. And I'm 15. I angled it. It ricochets off this this
It
chair.
reverberates?
Yeah, it reverberates. It's wet sounding, and my mother jumps up and screams, God, Jesus Christ, Billy, I don't know whether to slap your face or hand you a paper towel. I almost fell out of my chair.
But the reaction.
Of course, but my father
is a smart reaction.
Not hers. Hand you a paper. Well, I guess.
Yeah, because like who else? Like my mother would be like embarrassed, and she wouldn't know how to handle it. Your mother actually made a better joke out of it. So did your father.
Well,
that's where the intellect
my mother's
comes
was
in.
just that was her natural reaction, and my father just stands there, and he is not. He doesn't even crack. He goes, I didn't hear anything, which only makes it worse.
Ready to start a podcast? Bill Moran Productions is ready for you. Simply go to BillMoranProductions.com and fill out our Contact Us form. Or call us anytime. 585-206-8866. Your voice, your story. Bill Moran Productions handles the rest.
You never think you're going to need a personal injury attorney until you do. It's not something you plan for. 1 minute you're just living your life. Next thing you know, you're dealing with an accident, an injury, missed work, and a whole lot of stress you didn't ask for. And here's the truth. Insurance companies, they've got a plan. They know exactly what they're doing. The question is, do you? That's why if it's me, I'm calling Connors and Ferris. They know the system, they know how to fight, and more importantly, they know how to take care of people when things get messy. You're not just a case file to them. They walk you through it step by step and make sure you're not getting pushed around when you're already down. So if life throws you one of those moments, don't try to figure it out alone. Call Connors and Ferris or visit connorsandferris.com with offices in New York City, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo. Because when it matters most, you want someone in your corner who actually knows how to win. Connors and Ferris. According to some news sources, the new Highmark Stadium is going to have 7 sensory rooms. Yeah.
Sensory rooms.
Uh-huh. According to the Bills, that's more than any venue in the world.
Sensory rooms.
Great idea, or do you think we've gotten a little soft?
I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
We were talking about in the last segment about being smart.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to reveal my ignorance. What is a sensory room?
A sensory room would be, a sensory room would be somewhere someone who may be on the autism spectrum, maybe just needs a break, right? So it's quiet, it's soft, it's like.
No, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at
it's like
Bill's I need to cool down.
Well,
Josh Allen just threw another pick.
But so there's 2 ways.
This guy can't coach. I need to go to the sensory room.
There's 2 ways to there's many ways.
Hand me my beer.
There's not 2 ways. There's many, many ways to look at this, because you could go, all right, this sounds like putting
Do you need a timeout?
A meditation garden.
Greg, do you need a timeout?
Yeah, right. A meditation garden inside Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I mean? Okay, I get that. But if we try to make everything accessible for people who are physically disabled, what if you can physically get in, but after a while you can't tolerate it? Or you have a kid that loves Josh Allen, but there's a guy 3 rows back screaming, "Fuck Mahomes!" and the kid's like, "Ah!" You know what I mean? And kind of gets agitated and stressed, and so you take him into the sensory room. And they're open. You don't have to go. Here's the thing that I go, okay, I find this interesting, honestly, just as a human being, because you don't have to prove a diagnosis to go into the sensory room. There are 7 throughout the stadium, and they're open to anybody. So let's say you've got a phone call and you can't find a quiet space.
So it's not just for like people who are having.
It's called a sensory room, so I would think there are calming things in there, like calming music, maybe calming games, big stuffed pillows, things like that.
I guess who asked for this?
I think that we're getting.
I've never heard of this.
A sensory room.
No.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times you just need like maybe 20 minutes to regulate. Maybe you're like a big look. I can tell you, we have a much higher rate of diagnosis now because we're much more aware of things and how that can hold some people back, and that there are many gifts that come with this that need to be accentuated and things like that.
7.
But yeah, well, throughout the stadium, that you're talking 62,000 people or something, right? But there's a 6-year-old at his first Bills game who discovers the second quarter that 70,000 screaming fans is fucking terrifying in a certain way. And so maybe you don't want to leave exactly, but you take a little break and you go in the sensory room, and then the kid in like 5-10 minutes feels better, and you go back outside. I don't, and look, you could have an older person doing the same thing, or somebody who has how many people, I don't want to say self-diagnosed, but how many people have become aware that they get anxious, like really uncomfortably anxious at times.
I've been there.
And by the way,
it could be anything.
It could be anything. Let's say, honestly, this is going to sound silly, but let's say you're having a contentious breakup, or you had a contentious breakup, and you look 2 rows down and you see the person, and you're like, or divorce, and you're like, this is I mean, it would be weird. I will admit, if one of my buddies goes, "Hey man, I need to go to the sensory room," but
first I'm going to stop at the beer get beer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know how they're policing
From
this.
tables to sensory
Well,
rooms.
I mean, this is the thing. I don't know.
Both ends of the spectrum at One Bills Drive. You know what?
Because I can't see the Bills Mafia discovering a quiet room, but you know, like
they probably need it the most.
Excuse me, sir. Your son is experiencing sensory overload. Oh no, that's not my son. That's Gary. He's heading on the Bat Blue. Oh, and by the way, he was just on DraftKings. He bet the Bills over 3.5. He's fucking losing his mind. I don't know what to do. He just needs a minute. Just give him a minute. But honestly, if you got somebody like that, maybe you drag. Look, I wonder if someone doesn't get thrown out of the stadium necessarily. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't have a problem with it. I didn't know this was a thing. I mean, if that's something you want to do, I just want to know what the motivation was to have this, because I've never heard of this. Like, usually when you go to a game, you know what you're signing up for, especially in Buffalo.
Well, look.
Especially when you're paying the prices you're going to pay now.
Can you imagine fourth quarter of a playoff game in Buffalo? I want you to picture this. Fourth quarter of a playoff game.
I know where you're going with this.
Fourth game. There's an autistic 8-year-old who really wanted to go. And he had an opportunity to meet Josh Allen before the game. He was on the sideline. This is like a dream, right? And it's a dream for the parents because the kid's like so excited and everything. And he's peacefully now decompressing in there. And over in the corner is a 52-year-old man practicing breathing exercises because Brady just called the shittiest fucking play, and he's losing his mind, and he just can't stand it. And he called the timeout, and the guy's like, he is gonna just fucking snap. So he goes to the sensory room, and he's just breathing.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I just had a flashback. Picture it. January 27th, 1990. Bills are playing the Giants in Super Bowl 25, and they're about to line up to kick a field goal. I found out, my father left the room. It was just me and my mother in the living room. My father walked out of the room. He could not watch. I found out from other people in school that their parents who smoked actually went on the porch and smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
They couldn't watch.
Stress.
So, in other words, I understand now, perhaps, the situation that would lead to that. The thing is, though, do you have enough time before this stupid play or after to go to this sensory room and find your way over there? Because that walk right there alone could be like the release you need.
I do think for parents, honestly, of families with kids, and it's more kids, right? Mm-hmm. I think as adults, you learn to regulate and you know what you can and can't do, kind of. Not always, but most of the time. So I think it makes it more accepting to this. It's great PR. I don't know how big these rooms are. I don't know how much room they take up, space they take up. But I'm not really sure. But when I thought about it, I go, well, we have holding cells, right? Mm-hmm. For fans.
Well, dude, the Link used to have, or the old Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia used to have like a hooskow and a court.
That's what I mean. So, okay.
They had a court.
All right.
The judge would actually rule on your sentence in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So there are holding cells, a hooskow, as you're calling it. You've had ejections. You've got security. And those things happen when a fan becomes an asshole, right?
Yes.
Well, what if we had an adult timeout room? You're like, whoa. Like you see your buddy, right? You see him and you're like, you gotta come with me, take a walk. And you just lead him into the sensory room and you go, take 5 fucking minutes before we go out there and you get us thrown out. Right. And I don't know.
Can you imagine you disciplining your buddy? Buddy, we're going to go in the sensory room.
Well,
don't make me take. Well, I can see wives doing that to husbands. You're going to go in timeout. You're going to go in the sensory room.
No, what if a guy has to do that to
his wife? Yeah. Oh, that ain't happening. It should. It ain't happening. Oh, you know what's funny? My cousins used to do security for the Bills.
Okay.
In the 90s, right?
Yes.
Chase security, right?
Yes.
They were there for all the big moments.
Yes.
And they said most of the fights happened among the players' wives.
Okay. All right.
My cousin had to break up a fight, I think, between Cornelius Bennett's wife and Daryl Talley's sister at one point or something like that.
Well, but, I mean...
Maybe if you play more on third down, got to the quarterback faster, we wouldn't be in this shape.
You have been doing sports all your life, right?
Yes.
You've been a fan.
Since I was 7 years old.
You've been play-by-play.
I dropped He-Man and the Transformers and became a football fan.
You have been a sports radio talk show host. You have been...
I write columns.
You write a column.
I got a big one this week ironically called Who's the Adult in the Room?
Okay. In all your years of being around sports...
That was last week. My bad.
Have fans gotten worse, or do we just see everything now because people have a phone in their pocket?
Oh, fans are the same. Fans are the same as they've always been, with the exception of the tables.
Okay.
Fans are all, you remember, you can't smash a table in the stadium. That's all outside. All right. But fans have always been the same way they've always been. Okay. We just have phones now and everything. Mm-hmm. I would argue that fans in some ways have got more sophisticated. Around the league, they've priced out the people in Buffalo who would be jumping through tables. Because I would have never have imagined in a million years. You just told me, I'm like, what's a Century Room? And Bills have 7 of them. Like, I think it is a way to like curb crazy behavior. But like Alcoholics Anonymous, first you have to admit you're an alcoholic before you go to a meeting.
Well, look,
you have to admit that you got a little problem before you go in the Century Room. And that's going to take an enormous amount of drunken pride. I'm not talking about a child. That's different.
No.
I'm talking about full-grown man.
No, the 52-year-old guy who's fucking losing his mind and screaming at Joe Brady from the third tier.
Yeah, spending $13 a beer, 6-pack in.
Well, look, I could hear sports radio 20 years ago dumping all over this.
Oh, Jim Rome would have had a field day.
Oh, my God. Back in my
Clothes.
day.
Can you imagine a Century Room in Buffalo?
Back in my day.
They served buffalo wings?
We took our shirts off. We froze our balls off.
Yeah.
Some drunk guy dumped beer all over your kid, and we thanked Ralph Wilson for the opportunity. And you know what I mean? And now we've got Century Rooms. What are we doing? And I go...
That's just Century Rooms. The most Century Rooms of any stadium
in the world. A lot of people say nobody needed this when I was young. Right, or maybe they don't, but I can feel...
We didn't need seatbelts when I was young.
I can feel that coming about. And what I think they actually mean is the people who needed those things weren't there.
Yeah.
They weren't there. They weren't really into it. So I guess for me, it's like, were we tougher, or were a bunch of people staying home simply because the stadiums weren't designed for them? Now I feel like you're staying home because you just can't afford it. So I don't really know.
On the flip side, the TV experience is amazing too. You don't just get to watch the Bills. Now you can watch every...
Yes.
Like, this was unheard of 35 years ago. You couldn't watch every game. Now you can watch every game, and you can watch games within games. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, if you ever watch Red Zone Channel, my wife hates it. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think you're ever going to hear, welcome to Highmark Stadium. We ask that you politely golf clap after such a... You know what I mean? I don't think we're going there. That's not going to happen.
No.
And it's not about making the stadium a quiet place. It should never be about that, and it won't be about that.
No, it's a football stadium first.
But it's creating a quiet place or space inside a very loud place, making it, I don't know.
One thing I've noticed that as I've gotten older, it is harder to be in areas with a ton of noise for long periods of time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not picking on you. And it sounds like I am.
In other words, and I thought to myself,
that there's many people that are starting to realize, especially as you get older, I got limits here.
Yeah.
And these things don't make me feel great, and I'm going to remove myself from the situation.
Right.
I think one of these rooms could be the difference between we have to go or let me take 15 minutes.
Especially at the end of a game.
You know what I'm saying?
Like a playoff loss.
Yeah. That's all. I want an 8th room.
Okay.
An 8th century room.
An 8th century room.
Yes.
For?
Jets fans. When it comes to home improvement, you've got choices. Let's say there's a hole in the bedroom wall, and somehow nobody in the house knows how it got there. You could fix it. I mean, there's always YouTube, right? But 3 hours later, it's going to look like a patch job. Not even a good patch job. And how about that leak under the kitchen sink? Yeah, you said you'd get to it, and that was what? 2.5, 3 months ago? If we're being honest, we all have that list. The one where deep down, you're not totally sure you've got the skills to pull it off. If it's my list, I'm calling Mac of all trades. Holes in the wall, handled. Leaky sinks, done. Full kitchen remodel, yeah, they got that too. And hey, warmer weather's coming. How's that deck looking? Need it extended? Rebuilt? Outdoor patio? Don't be a deckhead. Call Mac of all trades, 585-202-9218. That's 585-202-9218. And you can see all they do online at macofalltrades.net. They'll handle it, so you don't have to.
There were often things that would show up on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You remember, the world's designed by geniuses, run
by
by
idiots.
idiots. But it would show up, and it would be like, did so-and-so fart during a press conference?
Yeah, Jim Tomsula.
Right.
Mike Francesa.
So I decided that we needed to have fart court because I worked with someone who hated fart humor. So I thought,
in radio?
Yep.
Okay.
and so they would get very like uncomfortable, and I thought, all right, but these are big stories that are all out, and we're in the sports world, the political world, and so fart, did this one fart, and I used to go, okay, and then I would hit the people's court music, and we would decide, was it a fart or not? Was it a fart or not? And the person would be getting mad at me. I'd be like, hey,
Come on, Billy.
this is yeah. How'd you know?
Come on, who else?
Yeah, and we get mad. And I'd be like, this is serious stuff.
Because I work with the other people, they actually thought it was funny.
This is serious stuff. We need to get to the bottom of the bottom and figure it out.
Come on, Billy. I gotta talk about EJ Manuel.
I'd rather hear somebody fart.
Dun, dun. This is the defendant.
It was
Jim Tomsula at a press conference. 49ers camp is just broke.
And then I would play the clip and go right there. And then I would isolate the clip, and then I would amplify in another cut the clip. So then you would just hear, I'm like, that's a fart. That's a fart. I don't know. I'd be like, no, it is. And then
Get Jim Tomsula walking out of court. Doug Llewellyn's interviewing.
yes.
So,
Oh,
are you
God.
pleased with the verdict?
My father used to say Doug Llewellyn looks like he has a rectum for a mouth because his lips are always like this.
Terse.
He goes, rectum mouth. And,
Dun, dun. These people have brought their cases to people's court.
I had a whole opening
Oh, I believe it.
with fart sounds and everything. It made me cry.
It would have been. I could see you. I'm not saying it would have been funny or clever, but I could see you making an entire like people's court theme song out of fart noises.
Oh, yeah. That's too much work,
Yeah,
man. I didn't have the time for that. But the point of what, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing that most of my time on the radio I spent entertaining me. I didn't like. I realized at 19 I got bored playing music. So I needed to entertain me. I needed to keep me interested. So that's why I would call payphones or open up the phones and see who's up and why and all these different things, right? And I would actually get disappointed when I had to get ready to pull the morning show's commercials and music for the morning because that was sort of your courtesy was the hour. They wanted me to pull the entire show. So I would do that, but I would always bum me out because I'm like, oh, I can't play anymore. And then, I mean, there was a time where I just found things funny, like the Dave Kane thing. We saw Dave
Last night.
Kane, who was a long time rock and roll DJ in town. He did the Midday Mambo, it was called, and pretty legendary.
Yeah.
New music probably better than anybody I've known, but would also feel like the station overlooked him at times, right? And he didn't get the same thing. And it was when the Bills first came to camp.
Oh, this story.
You
told it on the first podcast you ever did.
Yeah, I know. I did. And then seeing Dave last night, and he's so sweet and nice to me. And just such a gentleman. And I always liked him. But I yelled at him at one point. There was all kinds of stupid things that went on. But Dave was upset that they were making shirts for the morning show, that they were hanging up in every locker at Bills camp, and the morning show was live from Buffalo Bills camp, and they had Weeze's name on it. It just said Weeze. So you would see guys in these wick-away sleeveless shirts take off their pads and stand in front of ESPN cameras, and they would say Weeze and then the station call letters or something. They didn't give a shit. It was a shirt.
Yeah.
To get sweaty. They didn't give a fuck. And Dave was upset that the station, he had been asking them for Midday Mambo t-shirts, and they didn't do it. So I did a whole thing on the air, and I violated a lot of trust of Dave Kane, right? He wrote a memo complaining and then called me and said, will you take the memo out of the mailbox? Do me a favor. Like, do me a solid. Just get it.
So he turned into a radio bit.
And instead, one guy had taken it, so I figured, well, a little late now, because the guy that saw it was the guy in charge of everything. So I took the other one, and I read it on the air, and then I decided to make a Kano shirt.
Well, didn't you cross out Weeze's name?
Yeah,
and
I got spray
Kano?
paint. And I got spray paint. They wrote Kano. But who does that entertain?
You.
Yes. Maybe I did it wrong. I don't know. But I did it for me. It did it for me.
But the funny thing is, though, is that like that type of radio is now gone. That entertaining inter radio station conflict radio is now pretty much gone.
Everything in life is we're nothing if we have no connection, right? Why do people live, some of them, to 113? Like, I just heard about a guy in India who was 113, and he started running marathons because he was bored or something. Somebody said, you should try running. So he was doing marathons like in his 90s and stuff. He's out training, doing his daily run. He gets hit by a car, killed at 113. See, again, not funny for most people. They stop and they go, oh, that's too bad. And I go, what a way to go. What an ironic way to go. You know, right? I could go, well, that's why you don't exercise at 113. But amazing. I just found, I don't know, I find things funny. I find different things funny. Where was I going with that? I just totally lost my control.
No, I think the whole fart humor thing.
Right, but the fart humor, again, I get it. Fart humor is base and stupid. But if I can make it a little higher, right? Because everybody on the internet, not everybody, but many people on the internet are looking at this and going, fart, not fart, fart, not fart. And I go, all right, let's decide. And I knew the other person didn't like it. So that makes it more entertaining for moi.
Right, it was layered. It wasn't just talking about flatulence.
No. Well, a little bit at its base, a little bit.
Right.
You know, it was like when I put the microphone. I had wireless microphones as a child, Radio Shack. And I used to do radio shows from my room to my brother and sister's room because that's all I wanted to do. And I liked it because no one could see you. So you could be somebody else. You could be kind of the cooler guy. And I had two. One I would put near the music and one I would talk into. And I would make sure, and I'd be running upstairs going, did you hear me? Did you hear me? Did you listen? And, but then my parents had a party, and I put the radio behind the toilet. I had a little black radio. It was about a square, so kind of big. Should have been noticeable, but you know. And then I went on the other side of it was the tub and then the wall. The other side of the wall is my parents' room, so I needed to have no static. So I needed the microphone really close. Maybe I went into my parents' bathroom, which was on the other side. Like if you're doing plumbing, usually your bathrooms are back to back. And so I needed no static on the radio. Had to be clear, like, right? And no noise. So I put the radio in there and I left it on and I waited. I think I got this idea because I got bored and my parents kept shooing us away. Go back to your room, go back to your room. I was probably about 10, 11, somewhere between 10 and 12, I'll say. And so I did this and I got it set up. And then I remember Mr. Sevening went into the bathroom and he's sitting there and all of a sudden I come across the radio
I see your hiney, all big and shiny. If you don't hide it, I'm gonna bite it.
And he's like, hey, who's that? What? And I'm just picturing like him with his pants around his neck, and I'm losing it. I'm losing it. And man, my parents, oh God, did I get lit up for that. But it was awesome. I was bored. And so I just found, and you know what? Here's the thing that I think is missing. Here's what's missing. Boredom. People need to be fucking bored once in a while because you'll find a way to be creative.
Yes.
Right? We need more boredom. Just a little bit.
Well, you said necessity is the mother of invention, and when you're bored, you need something to do.
I had 2 TV channels and a black and white TV as a child. I had to walk uphill to see my friends. I did. No, but all that's true. But I think boredom is kind of wonderful now that I think about it. But I was never really bored. I would always find something to entertain myself. I mean, geez, I remember we realized that if you tap the cap on a glass beer bottle, like it was the pry off top, I don't think it was twist, and you tap it, and then it would like, and you would take it and you would throw it, it would explode in the air, and it was like a grenade. And so I guess some older kids had stashed a 6-pack in the stream. We found it, and we turned them into grenades. And we're just launching these things. And, like, some of them are exploding in the air, or we see one of our buddies coming to meet us. We throw it as close to him as we can, and it explodes. Like, that was the shit. I don't know. I feel like maybe those days are gone. Now we have sensory rooms. That's all right. I think sensory rooms are right. All right, Danny, we'll get out of here for today. Before we go, and I asked this at the last time, I know that we have an untested coach. He doesn't really have a track record of the Buffalo Bills as a head coach. Offensive-minded guy.
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady.
Bills, rookie head coach.
You've had some concerns. I'm sure you've kept up on some of the things that are happening at training camp. I did see a reel where somebody said triple coverage doesn't matter when you have Josh Allen, and it's like 3 defenders around some receiver.
DJ Moore.
And he got but Josh put it
right there.
I mean, so, and it was a long pass. So I'll ask this, not necessarily what are your thoughts, which I kind of want, but is there any optimism for you entering the season that the Bills will do very well?
There's optimism.
Okay.
There's optimism, of course. The schedule's a bit of a gauntlet this year, but and I think teams are going to be better this year around them. But my thing is, now that Sean McDermott's no longer there, okay, he's going to be the punching bag. I mean, like, there was a report from Sal Mayrana on Friday that he heard whispers out of one Bills drive that the reason the injuries were up in training camp last year and throughout the season is because he ignored the wishes of the analytics and the sports science people in the building saying, hey, you should rest this guy, you should rest this guy, you should rest this guy. And I'm not a McDermott guy, as you know, but in McDermott's defense, the general manager didn't draft very well, so now he's got to stretch his veterans even further who are getting older. I mean, right now I think there were at least 6 guys who were starting on the defense last year who are not signed by NFL teams at this point. And A.J. Epinesa actually was signed twice. He failed a physical in Cleveland or in Philadelphia and then signed with the Browns. And so my whole thing is, well, that's the general manager. I don't know who the adult is in the room right now. Is it Josh Allen? Well, no, Josh Allen's more like the cool older brother who, when the parents go away, decides to throw a party. You know, hey, as long as you guys go to school on time, we're going to be all right. He's like, you get your schoolwork done, and we could party. And, the Bills do get their work done. They win games. But when it comes down to those moments where, he was prepared for everything almost, and we found out he wasn't, McDermott. So if he was the guy who was the most prepared guy in the room, and he's gone, who is that guy? Because right now everything's, great vibes, man. Great vibes camp. Everything's great. It's like, it's lighter. It's all talk, man. I don't know who the adult is. It's not the general manager. It ain't the quarterback, and it's not the head coach.
Yeah.
So who's the adult? It's got to be the quarterback. And I'm not saying he's got to go Troy Aikman after Jimmy Johnson, go, come on, guys, I should have been the only one yelling at everybody right now. That's not Josh Allen. But he can't be Andrew Aw Shucks Luck either. All right, that's okay. We'll get him next time. Andrew Luck never got mad at anybody. You know, somebody's got to be the adult in the room and be, guys, come on, let's go. Let's go. We can't just, be screwing off because they lost focus a lot over the years. It would cost them home field advantage, and eventually it would cost them a trip to the Super Bowl. So who's the adult? That's my question. That's all.
Who is the adult in the room? Asked Dan Barillo.
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Yeah. Who needs to go to the sensory room?
There's only two rookie head coaches, first-time head coaches who went to a Super Bowl and won. Don McCafferty, who nobody remembers, who took over for Don Shula in Baltimore, and George Seifert, who inherited Montana, Rice, Roger Craig. He was on the Niners staff.
I would have gotten that wrong.
Well, I was asked that question. I got it wrong, too.
Yeah.
I was thinking John Gruden, but John Gruden he wasn't a rookie head coach.
No, he had been with the Raiders. Yeah, okay.
It was basically a trade.
Yes, it was. But I thought that too.
Don McCafferty's a guy that nobody remembers.
Yeah, it sounds like
he didn't coach very long.
Hey, do you know who Don McCafferty is? Love that guy's music.
Yeah, make me feel crazy, make me feel so mean.
I went listening
on the dark side.
I pulled up Sean Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band because I think we talked about it last time, and I listened on the way to where
and
I
in
was
the
going
video,
next.
that was his lone hit. And in the video, he didn't even get to play himself. It was the guy who played Eddie and Eddie and the Cruisers.
That's so
nobody
funny.
knows who John Cafferty even looked like.
That's funny. For Dan Barillo, I like the Yankee hat. Ooh, I just farted. I hope it doesn't stink. I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you next time.
See, we were looking for a Cadillac with Tennessee